And it's time. Welcome to CyberCast IRL. It is Friday, August the 1st. We have made it through June and July. If you're in Florida, you're like, so what? It's just going to get hotter because it's been hot, super hot lately. But thank you for joining me for today's CyberCast IRL. We're going to have a good time. As always, at least hopefully anyway, it's going to depend on you and I coming together and having fun talking about cybersecurity. And that's what we do here. So CyberCast is IRL is all about. I'm having a rough day. I'm not going to lie, kids. Here, you ready? I'm just going to kind of just out of the gate and just, trauma dump right here. I forgot to schedule CyberCast IRL last night. So this morning I'm like doing work and I'm watching Jerry's show and I'm like, oh no. I have forgotten to make the post. So I'm like rushing to Canva. Canva is just like going, you know how you want me to like put items on the screen? I'm not going to do that for you today. And I'm like, what's going on here? Why is this doing this? Why do you hate me so much? So that was happening. So I had to scramble to make the post. Finally got that done. Then jumped into jaw jacking with Jerry. That was pretty fun though, and that kind of settled me down a little bit. But man, I'm just having a hard time getting the train rolling today. But hopefully we can remedy that here in just a few moments, and everyone out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. Unless you're new. If you are new, well then thank you for joining us today. It's great to have you, and we're going to talk some cyber stuff. Don't worry, we'll absolutely do that. But I'd like to welcome everybody that's new. Let us know if you are new, so everybody can give you a nice warm welcome. A shout out to you for joining us and having your first CyberCast IRL. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if that is also true, let me do this. This is a bit of an AMA or, conversation. I guess that's a better way of putting it. This is like a conversation. And you can see that right here. Here's the chat rolling by, doing its chat thing. Let me do this. And everybody's talking, having fun. And by the way, we get here early. So if you want to come to pre-chat, definitely do that. We get into talking. We were talking a bit about AI. How are we using AI? Really cool, fun stuff. So definitely join. I usually get in here about 15 to 20 minutes early. Wayne's Real World is usually also here. There he is right there. He is our official, unofficial moderator. He's going to be helping out in the chat today. But if you want to get my attention, you see how like Carrie @ my name and it shows up nice and bold and red there, and I can really pick that out from all the other chatter. That's a great way to get my attention. But if I miss it, I am human. That does happen. Wayne is going to be on the lookout as well, doing that job, and we thank him for that. So there you go. So just make sure you @ my name so it shows up really easily, and then we can see it has Wes Bryan, Brother Noomsa. He's in the house. He says, Gremlins in the machines. Yes, Gremlins in my head. That's what's going on today. So that said, we do another little fun thing if you're new and you haven't seen this before. We call the morning pour. Now, for all of you out there that have been coming to IRL, this is a fun time for all of us where I grab the Lord's camo cup. The only acceptable camo combination is woodland camo. Just to let you know. I know I've got some digi camo stuff, but I prefer the woodland. And then we grab a Monster Energy drink, my tackling fuel, as it were, that gets me going, it gets me revved, it gets me prepared for this here show. And today's monster is going to be Ultra Ruby, right? Yeah, Ultra Red. I'm sorry, Ultra Red. I thought it was Ultra Ruby, but it's Ultra Red. That's what I'm going with today. I haven't had one of these in a hot minute. And we do a little ASMR where I get the cup nice and close to the microphone and we get ourselves a long pour. But before we get into that, we got to get the crack, right? We got to crack that sucker. Let's see if we can't. Nice. Noise. Well, that was fun. Kind of got on my fingers a little bit. That's cool. All right, we aim the microphone. We get the Lord's camo cup and pour. Oh, super froth. ASMR. Super fine. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I may have iced too much. That's the second time in a row that I've like one wrong move and this is going on the keyboard. Very tasty. I had to get the ice to come to the top. Usually give it a little tap on the desk there. Man. That's zingy. I like it. Now I'm feeling good. Oh yeah. I'm gonna look like a 6-year-old kid just ate a red popsicle by the time I get done with this cup of stuff, because it is very red, but it is also extremely tasty. So I can feel my batteries recharging. I'm ready to hit the ground running now. Yes. Are we happy? I'm happy. It was a good pour. Man, it was a little iffy there whether or not I was like, should I not? Should I keep going? I pushed it. It was like that episode of Seinfeld, if you've never seen this episode, where Kramer goes to look at a car for Jerry, and he wants to drive. He needs to know exactly how far it'll go before it runs out of gas. And him and the salesman are just like driving for hours. And they think, oh, we got to stop. We're pushing the envelope. He's like, just keep going. That's how I felt right there. Like, just keep going. I feel like it'll make it. And it barely did, but it's pretty good, though. All right. So there we go. We're good. We got tackling fuel in us now. I can feel it. I'm ready to rock. Let's talk some cyber stuff. Let's check in with chat. Chat. Oh, chat. How are you today? Let me see here. Let me see. Where was the last thing I saw? Okay, there's that. Here we go. Carrie's asking, this is Carrie chasing August, the hurricane heat up, but the Sierra dust has stopped lots of storms so far. Well, that's good, because hurricanes so for where I live, hurricanes typically are not a problem. If you're on the coast of Florida, you rolling the dice on when your house is going bye-bye. When your house becomes a boathouse, right? That is just kind of how it goes. And that's Florida life, though. To live on them pretty beaches, you have to either build really, 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 really strong, or just understand that it's only a matter of time before something not fun happens. Let's see here. Sometimes tech just don't work. That's true. That's what Wes was talking about. Get the gremlins in the machine. Let's see here. White Hat Sheepdog. I see the Pains in the house. Who else is in here? Carrie Franklin. Morning. Not Only IT. Yo, what's up? Not Only IT. Glad to have you today. Welcome to the show. Phil Stafford. Choo choo. What's up? David O'Neill. Outlaw 11. CJ. What's up, CJ? Oh, who else we got in the house today? I'm looking for White Hat Sheepdog. Very cool. Did I see the pain? I see the pain. Fire camouflage is best. I love it. I love it. Let's see here. Straw Hat Sec, good morning to you. And Ultra sounds like a scripting language or Pokemon, says White Hat Sheepdog. Yeah, it does. Ruby Red Pour, indeed. I thought somebody was asking. Oh, it was White Hat Sheepdog says, are you planning to go to DEF CON this year? I'm not going to DEF CON this year. All right, so I've got a confession to make. I'm going to put it out there. Don't judge me. I've never been to DEF CON. Okay, I know, right? You're like, what? I've been to Black Hat. I've been to RSA. Obviously, Wild West Hacking Fest. I've been to B-Sides. I've been to ShmooCon. I've been to a few cons. I have never made it to DEF CON. And there's a few reasons for that. I really don't like going to Vegas. I've been to Vegas a lot. I had a friend that lived in Vegas. I'm going to go out there. I am not a fan of the heat. If DEF CON were to move their little convention to, I don't know, like November or February, something like that, I would be much more inclined to go. But Vegas in the summertime, man, I'd be like, this looks sharp enough. Now, where's that femoral artery? I do not do well in the heat. And you're like, Daniel, you live in Florida. Yep. And you can ask my wife. I think she's in the chat. I don't go outside. No. I stay in this lovely air conditioned little hovel I've built for myself, and it's lovely. So that was one of the main reasons. Is it's in Vegas, it's in the summer, and I have so many other things that I have to do that, like, I get it. It's like a big con. It's a huge thing, and opportunity is the number reason. I never had the opportunity to do it. So yeah, never been there. I know, shocker, right? Crazy, crazy, crazy. One day, I'm sure it'll happen. Actually, I was talking to my wife about this. I was like, I probably just need to make sure to have a plan for both Black Hat and DEF CON next year and just go and be done with that. But it's always bad timing. It's always something in the way. There's always something else for me to do. And it's super flipping hot. So I'm not really inclined to head out there during that time of the year. So there you go. I've been to Vegas. I've done the Vegas thing. Vegas doesn't really impress me that much anymore. So yeah. Uh, there you go. I've been really happy with going to things like my local B-sides. They've been fire, right? I've been obviously Wild West Hackin' Fest has been super awesome. Because it's my favorite con to go to, even Hackspace Con and stuff like that. There's a lot of really good cons to go to, so I don't feel like I've missed out on too much. But hey, maybe I am, and I'm gonna have to remedy that sooner or later. So why not next year, right? So not this year, but next year I should get it done. Let's see here. Super user dude says judged. 10 Grand 11 said I had my monster ready. Let's go. Let's hit it. Let's hear you. Okay. This is Wayne's Real World. Let's hear your take on AI models and what you use. So I just use the big three, right? Like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude for the most part. I've been using Venice AI a bit as well, just because it's supposed to be a little less constricted on what it can and cannot tell you. So if I need an answer for something I'm not finding a ready answer for, because it's probably like around malware or something like that, or exploitation, where the others will go, well, hold on there. You sound like you're asking me to help you exploit something. I'm like, well, yeah, but it's like, no buts. That's not what we do here. So there you go. I'm a little phlegmy today too. My son's all gunked up. I'm gunky. I'm not Mr. Gunkle though, right? Even though I hope he's in the chat. Oh, I just happened to see Sifodius says rocking the peachy keen myself. We did that one last week. It was delicious. That's a good one. That is a very good one. I have to keep it on the shelf, like not used, because I would probably just get a case of peachy keen and just drink that, and that would always be peachy keen for the morning pour, and that would get boring. We like the surprise, right? What's it going to be? I don't know. Heck, I don't know until I go grab the can. I'm like rummaging around in the bin of monsters. I'm like, ooh, I'm playing Monster Roulette. It's fun. Oh, let's see here. Carrie says, Daniel and others, I haven't been in a workplace in 3 years, and yesterday cleaning all the rooms for classes and got to the last three, and my back froze up. I made it through. I'm glad to hear, brother. I know, man. It's like, I mean, that does bring up a good point. Sitting all day. I can tell you, since I've become a fully remote worker, I have gotten a wee bit on the heavy side. I have gotten a wee bit on the, I'm not as fit as I once was. It's really easy, either when you don't have work or when you're working in a sit down. I think we've talked about this before. I should probably get I need to look into getting a stand desk, but that means changing some things like the height of the camera and all that other fun stuff. So there's a lot that goes. I can't just go grab a stand desk and go, yay. I can for work sometimes because I still do live stuff on camera, but I guess I would just sit for those things and stand the rest of but all that to say, we need to be taking care of ourselves, kids. So do stuff, go for a walk once a day, get you a nice 15-minute walk, get some sun. As much as I hate it, I still do go outside a couple of times just to get some vitamin D from the sun for a little bit. And then I start profusely sweating when I come in. I have to take a shower, but I still have to do it. I have to take care of myself, and I hope you guys are taking care of yourself so that you don't injure yourself when you do have to do something. And we're not just not just decaying in our little offices. So get some exercise, play with your kids, do something physical. Okay. Tech Grunt 11 says, I haven't been to DEF CON either. Like-minded. Well, man, we should make a plan. We'll all meet up out there, all us first-timers for DEF CON. And we'll make some shirts or something. It'll be fun. All right, see here. Super User Dude says, oh, Vegas. Yeah. Judgment retracted. That is funny. That is funny. Oh, we're having a good time this morning. Keith Sloan says, hey, coming over from Simply Secure. Was like, oh, I'm missing CyberCast IRL. I'm glad you made it. Thanks for joining us. Let's see here. Wayne's Real World says, that's why I love Michigan. Let it snow, let it snow. You know, I think there's this fine line between too much snow and not any snow. Like, we don't get snow hardly ever, right? And then when we do, it's fleeting. It doesn't stay long. It would be nice to have a little bit and go, oh, isn't that pretty? Now it melted 2 days later and it's over. And that was the snow. Cool. So I got to find that right line. My wife says it's true. He stays inside. He has the widest legs. It is true. I am a walking vascular chart when it comes to my lower half because I wear pants all the time. I hardly wear shorts, and I definitely don't let my legs see the sun. But I went to a dermatologist and had a full body check to make sure, damn, because I have like freckles, right? Like I'm a pale ghost. I know myself, and my wife pushed me. You got to go take care of it. Got to make sure there's nothing wrong. So I did. And they were like, wow, you have freckles and you have moles and stuff, but everything looks good. I said, well, I don't go in the sun. And they said, continue to do that. I said, okay. So it's I can now blame it on health reasons. Like for health reasons, I don't go into roasting heat. Let's see here. Outlaw 11. I've been loving Cybercast after dark. Keep it up. Just right amount of fun midweek to get me into the weekend. Good. That was the whole purpose of it, was to have something in the middle of the week and at night. So, and I think that's for most of the people in the US, it's between 6 and 9 p.m. is when we start, depending on what coast you're on. And so hopefully at that point, kids are doing other things or are in bed. And now you can just chill, put the headphones in, be a part of chat. I have noticed chat is much more laid back in IRL, but that's cool. That's kind of the purpose of it, is for us to get together, just have some fun, something else in the middle of the week, and have a guest on, a little bit different of a format. A lot of fun. LMAO says Phil Stafford getting roasted by the wife. Yep. She's not lying. No, she tells nothing but the truth. Keith Sloan, but Daniel, the sphere. Oh yeah, the sphere in Vegas. It's cool. I'm not gonna lie, that's a cool thing. Hey man, that is not bad, by the way. If you would like to support the Morning Pour, if you enjoyed that, you can buy me a monster. There's a link below, so that we can keep the cans a-flowing and the monster pouring like a waterfall for the Morning Pour. So if you want to click that link below, you can buy me a coffee. Not a coffee, a monster. It's through Buy Me a Coffee, though. But you can buy me a monster, and that would be great. And that way we can keep this fun little thing we got going. All right, back to chat. CJ says, I'll pick you up next year in Florida to go to DEF CON 2026. That's right. You're right down the street, ain't you? We could totally do that. That'd be fun. All right. Black Hat starts tomorrow. Mandalay Bay, 105 degrees. Yeah, it's been pretty hot here, too. So it wouldn't have been too different than here, but what are you going to do? Trying to get a friend in. Okay, this is from, it seems like an actual cyber thing. Kartik Rao. Trying to get a friend into CyberSec, and your hands-on hacking series has been a blast. Thanks for that. Grabbed it on a Humble Bundle. Man, that was a fun series to make. I really enjoyed doing that series. I hate that I don't own that IP. And I really hate who gets the money for it when people, but that's not your fault, right? I'm glad you got the Humble Bundle. I'm glad that you're benefiting from it. I'm glad you're enjoying the training. And it does bring back fond memories of stuff that I've done in the past. I should probably make a new one. What do you think? What say you? You kids think I should make like, so basically for those of you who are not familiar with my hands-on hacking series that I've done with a previous venture that I used to be a part of. A wink and a nod, right? It was basically, let's learn hacking methodology. And what I did was I grabbed a bunch of machines from VulnHub and I used them and each little bit to build and teach hacking methodology throughout a series. So I think we did 5 or 6 different challenges, and each one you got to build on your hacking methodology. You get to go, okay, what are we going to do? All right, we need to do enumeration and recon. What tools are we going to use for that? Well, let's start with scanning IPs. Okay, so Nmap's a good tool for that. RustScan's a good tool. RustScan didn't exist back when I did that, or at least it wasn't popular. That's the idea. And then we have something to hack on and to build up that methodology. I could even go even farther because I've learned a lot since then on what's important, because the hacking methodology is a very good thing to learn, but also the report. I should probably add a report writing section to the end of that, and we'll be reporting as we go, kind of thing, like taking the screenshots, making notes, adding that. It'll make it a much longer course, which, hey, who are we to complain, right? But that could be a lot of fun, and I think would benefit a lot of people. So get the old pad out, redo hands on hacking, add report writing. That could be a cool course for the kids out there. A lot of fun to do too. So let's see here. Back to the show. We got Wayne's Real One says Home Depot has a nice stand to sit desk, but you have to crank it. That's fine, right? Makes you use your body, right? All these electronics, man. Every little, like, nickels and dimes. I always tell my wife, it's like nickels. Everything's nickels and dimes, right? And pennies. They add up to dollars, right? So every extra little thing you do manually is more load that you're putting on your body. So therefore it's going to be used. You're going to be greasing the groove, as it were, right? I can crank a window up and down. Is it convenient to push a button? Yes, it is. But I'm not. We saw a shirt in the mall the other day. It says, "But did you die?" And I'm like, I need to get that shirt. I'm totally going to get that shirt, because ultimately, yeah. But did I die? No. It's just whatever. Like, maybe we've made our lives too convenient. Maybe we've made it too easy. I've always said there's something about struggling your way through stuff and having to put forth some effort that seems to be very good for us, and that we benefit in ways that we don't realize at the time that it's happening. We just, and I say it all the time. I'll probably do anything you want me to do as long as it's ethical and legal. But expect me to bitch my way through it. So just gonna throw that out there. As long as I can complain, then yeah, I'm good to go. But after it's all done, I realize, like, man, I grew, I learned, I have an experience. And here's a little anecdotal thing. Went camping with my friend Dan one time, and it was winter in Florida. So we thought, oh, it'll be cool outside, and so it won't be hot. We can have a fire. It'll be great. We geared up and we hiked out, like, I don't know, a few miles into the middle of nowhere forest of Florida, set up camp. Weatherman said it was supposed to be like in the low 40s, high 30s that night. We're like, cool, we'll have a nice fire going. It'll be great. We got all the cold weather gear we need. Yeah, it got to be like 12 degrees that night. I could watch the frost like seep in as the fire died down. You could literally see the frost moving and frost things up. And then we would throw logs in the fire and it would move away. My shoes, it had rained, so it was a little damp out, and the mud was freezing to my boots. And we froze our butts off that night. And then we had a big deer show up. And he was like a rutting buck out there looking for the ladies. And he's like right outside of our tent. And I'm like, are we going to have to shoot a deer because it attacks us? And Dan, who's from up north, I'm like, he's like, what is that? What is that noise? I'm like, it's a deer. Just chill. Just let him do his thing and move on. He's like, I swear, I cannot believe you brought me out here. We struggled our way through that little camping event. But man, I could call him right now and be like, man, you remember those chicken biscuits we ate that morning? He'd be like, yes, I do. They were the best chicken biscuits I ever had in my life. Because when we hiked our butts out of that woods, it got to a place that served breakfast and we didn't have to do anything but sit there and stink and look stupid. It was fun. Like, I look back on that fondly. And it's the same thing when it comes through like going through tough things. Like right now, I'm trying to get more in depth with Bloodhound. That is not an easy tool to get like super in depth with. Having trouble finding information on writing custom ciphers for it and stuff like that. I'm like, huh. But as I struggled my way through that, I am going to learn a lot. And I'm going to hate it when I'm in the middle of it. But after, I'm going to love it. I'm going to be like, but I know that crap cold because of how I had to gain that knowledge. I had to fight tooth and nail to get it. And therefore, it's probably going to have much more retention in my brain. It's going to be more applicable. I'm going to be able to understand it a whole lot more. So I say, don't shy away from challenges, kids. Like, lean into it. Yeah. So there we go. Back to chat. That's my little philosophy of today. Let's see here. Where am I at? DEF CON shirts, first timers, hashtag first timers. That's right. That'll be awesome. Office yoga is a thing. That is true, Tech Grunt. That is true. Super user do CyberCast After Dark monthly. We fit. Oh, it says we. Mom, I'm going blind. Don't worry. That's just me going blind. We fit. I thought it says will fit. I'm like, will fit? No, we fit episode. There you go. Let's see here. Cybercast. I'm sorry. Cyberspace Ghost. Nice. Yeah, I remember that. It was pretty cool. So that's the excuse not to cut the grass. I guess. What's up, FedEx? Good to see you, brother. For health reasons, I don't go outside. That's it. Yes, yes. Oh, let's see here. David Robbins asked, just listened to B-dubs with James and her role seems amazing. Know any other non-corporate self-employed scalable cyber roles at any level? I mean, bug bounty, right? You could do that. You could just become a researcher and do that. Or you can just freelance just about anything. Honestly, there's plenty of companies. You could do training. You could sales. Like, I mean, I guess that's a little more corporate. I guess you said non-corporate, self-employed, scalable. Yeah, I mean, you find your own niche, I guess. That's an interesting question. I actually probably would want to do some good research into that myself on, let's see here, self-employed cyber jobs, cyber hustles, I guess. STLES. All right. Very cool. I'll look more into that because that's a good topic of conversation, I think. So thank you, David, for asking that question. That's just off the top of my head. I think that probably like doing bug bounty and just freelance stuff. You can do things like, because I've done this, you go into businesses and give them security awareness training, help them with that. You can do phishing tests for them. You can do all sorts of stuff. Just got to get creative, but there's plenty of work to be done out there as a consultant in various and sundry ways. So you just got to kind of figure out what those lanes are and where you best fit. But those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Tech Grunt says, more promos to come from CyberCast After Dark. Thank you, Tech Grunt. Yeah, you're putting in the work. You've been awesome at some really cool graphics. Wayne's Real World as well. Lots of fun stuff. You guys are killing it. So thank you so much for all that. And feel free to post anything you like. If you share this, by the way, if you hit those likes and subscribe buttons, well, not subscribe as much, but I do appreciate the subs. But the likes, the shares, and commenting, anything that's engagement, the more you type in the chat box right now, the more YouTube goes, this is something people apparently are engaged with. That's what they care about. And that's the same for most of the other social medias as well. The more you engage with the content, the more it'll get like promoted by the algorithms. So, but heck, I won't turn down a sub if you're willing to give it to me. I'm at a solid, you know what? And I want to give a shout out to everybody who has subbed to my channel. because I've never boosted, I've never done a promotion. Not that there's anything wrong with doing that stuff. I'm just saying that every subscriber that I have has been gained organically. Like that just people heard about the show, watched it, liked it. So either CyberCast IRL and now After Dark or my just YouTube content in general. And they saw it and said, this is cool. I like what he's doing. Subscribed. Big thank you to anybody that would do that for me. I appreciate it because that's a cool way for you to tell me personally that you like what you got going on. The other stuff, and I do like comments as well because I engage pretty heavily with everybody in the comment section. So at least as much as I possibly can. I've missed a few. Don't worry, it happens. Sometimes people make comments that there is no response for. So it's hard you just kind of thumbs up because, yeah, I like that. That's cool, but there's no good response for it. But yeah, so comments and subscriptions, those are you saying, hey, Daniel, keep it up, man. I appreciate what you do. So I appreciate that and everybody that has subscribed. All right. Good morning, McTurtle Man. Good to have you today. I just happened to see that. Cheddar Bob's in the house as well. Let's see here. Yes, do it. I think we're talking about the hands-on hacking series. Could be fun. Yes, Daniel, need to make another one. I triple dog dare you. Oh, well, I mean, as we know, the triple dog dare, you can't walk away from that. You have to pick up the gauntlet when the triple dog dare has been thrown. I mean, you went straight for the jugular, Carrie. Thanks. Appreciate that. Let's see here. I think everybody's liking that idea, by the way, because I see a lot of comments about it. Let's see here. Moving on. Yes, please. I would like that. Yeah, lots of would like that. I would watch that. Need to work on my reporting, says Merrick. Didn't pass the CPTS because of that. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like all these new certs. I mean, we're at the midway right now. We're 30 minutes in. Most of these hands-on certs nowadays, in the practical sense, right? Like the OSCP, CPTS, TCMs, PNPT, like so on and so forth. They understand that part of that job is writing a reports. And I've seen and heard about people not getting jobs, not because they didn't have skills technically, but because they didn't have reporting skills. They had all the required technical skills, but they did not have enough oomph behind them when it came to report writing, not enough experience in that realm, and they were passed over. And when they asked, hey, just so that I can learn and be better for the next person I submit a resume to, where was I weak? What was it? What was the deciding factor of me being passed over? And then when those people responded, when that happened, they said, we need someone that can write reports. We didn't see anything on your resume about your ability to talk to customers, deliver reports, deliver debriefs, that kind of stuff. So that's a really important part of the job, right? We tend to like shuffle that out of the way because it's more fun to get our hands on the keyboard to hack something. It is not fun to take screenshots and annotate things and write a narrative and talk about remediations and give severity and business impact and do that analysis. Like that's not the most fun thing on earth for people that like to hack things, right? It's not fun to call and do an ROE call or do a scoping document and go, okay, this is what's going to be in here. So let's do emergency contacts. Let's do this. Let's do statement of works. Let's do blah, blah, blah. Those are the non-fun things for a lot of people. So, but it's a very big part of the job. And the better you're at that, the more likely it is you're going to get repeat business because they're like, this was professional. This was good. And companies that do this for a living love repeat business because that grows their book of business. That means they're going to have better revenue. They're going to be able to hire more pen testers. They're going to be able to hire more assessors. They're going to hire more auditors, more SOC analysts, more whatever, because their business is growing and they need them to fill in for that work, right? So if you are good at that, you're going to get shuffled to the higher part of the stack there. It's a great way to stand out, is to say, I spend a lot of time polishing and working on reports. That said, I've actually put in the Discord hold on here. Where's that at? All right, let me go here. Let me jump. Where's bang? There is a whole section I have added right there. Rate my report. Bada bing. Jump into Discord. Link is in the description of this episode. So join in, start writing reports of your Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, Vuln Lab, Pentester Lab, whatever it is you're doing. Start using that as a thing where you can write a report, submit it here, and then the rest of us, we need to commit to reading said reports and giving feedback, doing what's called peer review, right? If you're a pen tester, we would please, I know your time is precious, but we would love for anybody that's in the field working as pen testers right now, working as analysts right now, to really check those out and give some feedback so that people can go back. And then you have to go and rewrite the thing. You can't just go, oh, okay, yeah, I made some spelling and grammar errors, and thanks for the feedback. Nope, nope, nope. You need to then go fix it and then resubmit or make it more available. And of course, I in here I kind of say, use Medium or something like that to post it, so that way we don't have to be exchanging files necessarily. So it doubles as, not only are you getting a lot of experience in report writing, but you're also getting to post stuff out there and put yourself out there, give yourself a voice, and that you're giving to the community and showing your skill set of not just the technical hacking stuff, because there it all is in that report, but your ability to write a report. Don't just do a write-up. By the way, any of us that do this, you're reading write-ups. That's the way it goes. There's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. You should be reading write-ups. I want to see how other people did it. If I get stuck, I need some help. I want to go see what other people have done. I try to, if I'm stuck on something, I try to just kind of read and to where I know I'm getting to the part where I'm stuck at, and hopefully there's just a nice little hint there, and I can think of something or spark something that I've missed and go, oh yeah, I forgot to do that. But sometimes you just get straight up stuck and you're like, hey, I need to know how to do that. Man, I've seen some bad walkthroughs out there. Oh my goodness, they're horrible. And if that's the kind of stuff you're putting, let me start off with, thank you for putting the write-up out there, okay? But just spend, 5 to 10 minutes and read what you wrote and see if you can follow and listen, guilty as charged. I have done it. I have done that very thing where when I went back and read it, I was like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Idiot. Stupid, right? And I go in and I fix it. But if I don't do that, then that's going to be a ding on me in my skill, my capability. Because remember, it's a double-edged sword. You get to show everybody in the world what you know, the skills you have, but you also are going to be exposing any of your weaknesses as well. So have it reviewed. I hope some of us take advantage of this. I would really like to see that take off. I think it would be a cool thing and great for everyone to get experience. That becomes experience. That is the thing you get to put on your resume. Experience writing reports, even if you haven't worked as a pen tester yet, even if you haven't worked as an analyst or an auditor or whatever, a vulnerability assessor, whatever the case, doesn't matter. You're going to be writing reports. You're going to be filling in people on what you are doing. You want that to look pro. Throw that in the Rate My Report. We can all kind of group share through that and help you make that polished, up our games. All of us. So cool stuff. Let me see what we got going on in chat here. Let's see here. Man, you guys got super chatty. No pain, no gain type of shirt. Yeah, I am a no pain, no gain kind of guy. I used to hate that. I was like, what is that? That sounds stupid. I didn't understand it, I think, was the problem. When I started going to the gym, I realized what that meant. It meant you have to push yourself. If you do 10 reps of bench press or curls or whatever the case is, and at the 10th rep, you were like, whew, yeah, nice pump. You're going to get some benefit, but not the benefit you're looking for. If you want to grow, if you want to make your body look crazy and be super stupid strong, if you get to rep 10 and you cranked it out and it was no big deal, go to 11. And if that was easy, go to 12. If that was easy enough, it should be getting hard. Every single set you do should be pushing you into feeling much discomfort, where it's like, oh, like you're sweating and you're like freaking out and your body is screaming, please stop. And you're like, no, I'm going to try for another one. You should literally not be able to move the weights at the end of your set. And your muscles are just screaming for you to stop because that's where growth happens. So that's what it means. No pain, no gain. And now that I know that I'm totally down with that. Oh yeah, it was nice that the buck stopped there. I don't know what that means, but yeah, you're talking about my camping story. Wayne's Real World said, I said that after SEER school. Oh, God bless you, child. You went to SEER. That's Survive, Escape, Resist, and Evade. The best MRE you ever had. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Good for you, Wayne. Everybody give Wayne a big shout out because anybody that's been through SEER deserves a special round of applause because that is not a fun thing in any capacity. So God bless you. And thank you for going through that because that means you are at high risk of capture. And that means Wayne did some crazy stuff. Good for you, Wayne. We all salute you, sir. Super User Dude putting together an idea for a local LLC to do low-hanging fruit pen testing and user awareness training. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's a great idea. That is a phenomenon. Michal actually talked about when he came into the U.S., he said it was like 12 or 13 years ago. He said, I have credentials and certs and skills, and it all really meant nothing. When he came to the U.S., he kind of started off with a clean slate. So he had to build a book of business and people that knew him and his capabilities. It was the people that could kind of vouch for him that were really helpful in him gaining more work and getting more clients and so on and so forth. And he did that by doing kind of exactly what Super User Dude's talking about, by volunteering some effort to nonprofits, churches, synagogues, other organizations like that, where they don't have the money to have that stuff done. So you get to exchange your time and skill for experience from them. And then you say, hey, could I get a letter of recommendation from you? And then you add that becomes a part of your experience. That's going to be great stuff. So that is a phenomenal idea. Let's see here. White Hat Sheepdog says you should get Caitlin Sarayan on your Cybercast After Dark. She is the Caitlin Clark out of our cyber world. Okay. Gotcha. I will check her out. I may have heard that name before. Sounds vaguely familiar. Let me write that down. Caitlin S-Y, where's it at? S-A-R-I-A-N. Thank you. I will look into it. Let's see here. Phil Stafford, do you know how to get consulting in a new market? It's terrible, or I'm terrible at marketing myself. Hey, that's a really good question. Like, let's see here. Definitely was not expecting this, but it's a great question and something we could all do. For me, marketing myself comes by way of doing things like this. You can see I can speak. I have the ability to engage people in a really meaningful way, I think. And that's a skill that I have. And you can see that by watching my YouTube stuff. You can also see my skills on that. That's a really cool way of being able to tell people I'm into cyber stuff. If you're interested and you really want to see who I am, just go check out my YouTube channel. If you've got a blog, point them towards your blog. Like, that's going to be some really like personalized marketing to say, this is me. And those things should be, this is me. Shows off who you are, right? Because that's part of your marketing. You want people to think you're cool, you're trustworthy, you've got those skills, and those are really good ways of demonstrating those things. And then, of course, it's going to be through networking, people you know. Hey, I learned about your company through XY. You're familiar with them, right? Yeah, I did some work for them the other day. Now, obviously, when you're starting out, that's going to be a lot more difficult to do. But typically, a good like low to zero, free 99 kind of price for some work is a great way to get that started. Hey, I'm offering you guys a really introductory price because I'm new as a freelancer, but I've worked in the area for blank amount of time. I've worked in cybersecurity for a long time. I'm now just starting to branch out on my own. So you're going to get a really great introductory price that's going to get to lean on my nose. That's how you just have to show them the value you bring. And now they may take it, they may not. You better get used to rejection, because even if you can prove demonstrably, without a doubt, objectively, that they need your services, you're still going to get people to go, nah, I'm good. It's fine. Thanks, though. Appreciate it. Some people will even be kind of jerks about it. So get ready for that. You just kind of let that roll off and just realize that's part of the game. It's like bug hunting, right? It's like, yep, that didn't work. Yep, that didn't work. Yep, that didn't work. Yep, that didn't work. And oh, look at that. Cool. All right, we're moving down the road some more. So that's kind of how it's going to be. So don't be afraid of that. And I think that if you're expecting it to be that way, if you're expecting to get rejection, when you don't get it, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. And you're going to do a really good job, and you're going to be much happier. Because I used to do this in school, where I would be like, people are like, well, how do you think you're going to do on today's test? I'm like, I'll get a 0. I will fail horribly. I will get every question wrong. And they're like, why do you say that? I'm like, because that way, if I get even one question right, I did better than I thought I would. And it's just a psychological thing. It's not that I really thought that, but it was more like, I don't set my expectations too high, even though I'm pretty sure it will be better than that. And that way I'm always kind of like on a high note. Cool. I did better than I thought I'd do. That's just personal philosophy. You don't have to go that way. That's just me. That's my opinion. Hopefully that helps. Word of mouth is going to be awesome. Josh Mason in the house, the fungus among us. What's up, Josh? Good to see you, bro. Let's see here. White Hat Sheepdog. Are more people employed in our space, or are more contractor base? Yes. So I don't know, honestly. And I know a lot of people that are employed and yet still do contract work. So it's really hard to judge that, at least from my anecdotal experience. So I don't know. I would love to see the numbers on that, though. I don't know if anybody's done that research or not. People, FedEx is having a good time with Cheddar Bob writing single letter messages to each other in the chat. That's kind of funny. Let's see here. Moving on. What else we got here? Question from Keith Sloan. After a long day of Monster and work, what do you do to chill and relax besides that sick guitar collection you have? Well, I am blessed to have a beautiful family, and my wife is my best friend. I love her so much. That's the reason I married her, right? Is like, I enjoy spending time with my wife. And then my kids are awesome. They're a handful. Don't get me wrong. They're basically feral half the time. But man, when they're in the groove, they are some cool kids. I really enjoy my kids. We got married a little bit later in life, and we had kids a little bit later in life. So now, as we're approaching 50, it's unlikely we're having any more kids. So, but we probably would have if we were younger. We probably would have had 1 or 2 more, because they're just fun. They're a lot of work, yeah, but they keep life interesting. And man, they love you to death. And yeah, of course, you're going to go through. I haven't gone through teenage years yet, so pray for me. Like we're about to enter into that. Well, I got a preteen right now as my oldest, but hopefully we come out of that unscathed. As my dad used to say, you can just teach them the best you can and hope they don't do something so stupid that they ruin their life. He told that to my brother, who accidentally shot himself. So yeah. He had 6 kids. So he went down the road a few times with troubled kids that did stupid things. By the time he got to me, I'm the last. He still wasn't great, but he was better than he was when he started. I'll give him that. Let's see here. Port Zero, Ricky Kelly says, 100%. I have GPen cert, but my only problem with it is it didn't go into report writing. Hands-on portion was fun. I bet hands-on is fun, right? But we got to get good at these reports, man. You know who I need to reach out to? I need to reach out to Mike Saunders and have him on After Dark, because of all the people I know, he takes report writing very seriously. I heard someone who worked for Mike, or worked with Mike at Red Siege. Did he call Mike out by name? I want to say he did. So this person, pen tester, red teamer. They said, oh yeah, I used to work for Red Siege, but that didn't work out. I was like, yeah, what was the problem? And they said, they're like Nazis when it comes to report writing. And I was like, that's a strong language. He's like, yeah, Mike was very he is very, and I told Mike this stuff. I didn't, because I don't remember the person's name. I didn't know who they were. I said, yeah, I talked to somebody the other day and they were saying how you're like a Nazi with report. He's like, that checks out. And then Jason Downey was like, oh yeah, Mike don't play. So I need to get Mike on when it comes, because the Red Siege crew, they really take their report writing very seriously. So they're going to probably have some really good knowledge for us. So I'm going to reach out to Mike and see if he can come on, give us all some good tips and tricks. And you know what? If I'm not mistaken, hold up, swolled up. Let me see here. Let's go a hunting real quickly. And I believe there is a pen testing reports, like templates, and it's in GitHub. Plextrack. So Plextrack is a company that they make software that helps you write reports. I remember talking to Mike about that. He's like, no, we do it all manually. So like I said, if you need the top tier dog, it's going to be a list of public penetration testing reports published. Let's see if this is any good. I know I've seen a few of these GitHub repos. This one looks pretty good. So I'm going to throw this in the chat. Copy, throw that in, paste. And if anybody can give us some good tips on writing pen test reports, it's my boy Mike Saunders. But I want to say, hopefully they have a Red Siege report template. Where's it at? Ah, yeah, right there, Red Siege. Cool. Red Siege report template.pdf. Thank you for the malware. No, I'm kidding. Right, so here we go. Let's see here. Let me download this. Yes. Beautiful. And now we can kind of use this as a way to start looking at how can we better write our reports, because I trust Red Siege. I'm wearing a Red Siege shirt today, right? I'm straight up. I'm like fanboying out on Red Siege all day today. I wonder if Black Hills has one. I should check that out too. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But here you go, right? This is executive summary. Look how pro this thing looks. Findings overview, giving you risk categories by severity, key findings, right? Showing you all the great information, breaking it down. And then we see, look at this. Isn't this beautiful, right? Here are all the major findings that they found. Weak password policy. There's a low risk finding of directory indexing, some internal finding summary, some web application. Look how they categorize this. This is super pro, right? So this is the kind of things that we all can use and lean on to help us write better reports. And like I said, I'm going to reach out to Mike probably today and see if I can't get him scheduled for After Dark and get him in here so we can benefit from his wisdom and knowledge on how to write better reports, because this is straight up what's up. All right, let's go back to chat. BB King has a good class on report writing. That is right. Thank you, Wayne, for reminding me that. Merrick says, the report Nazi. No hacking for you. You write better reports, so no hacking for you. David O'Neill says, I like how they have the report written and broke down. Yeah. Oh, bearded IT dad's in the house. What's up, Dakota? Good to see you, brother. So pumped, doing good and prepping for DEF CON. Have a good time, my man. I'll have to do something like next week. I'm wondering how light the chat will be because everybody's at DEF CON and I'm sitting here with my monster like, welcome to CyberCast IRL. Morning pour was fun. Nobody saw it because they're at DEF CON. I'll be that kid. We made fun of Jerry this morning because everybody on Jawjacking panel was like, yeah, we're not going to DEF CON this year. I'm not going to Vegas. I'm not going to Black Hat. I'm not doing anything. So that was kind of funny. I'm like, Jerry's going to be in a hallway just going, where is everybody? But I'll be doing the same thing in my studio here. So let's see here. Wayne's Real World says, challenge accepted. He will help read. Well, we appreciate that, my man. TechGrunt11 says, to quote Mike Rowe to your write reports rant, it's a dirty job, but someone has to do it. That's exactly right. Man, imagine how much better your skills will be. Like to put that on the resume that I'm very adept at writing reports, and here is a bevy of them that I've done. So you can just skim through them. You don't have to like read them. Just skim through them and see. I deliver quality, and it's demonstrable. Here it is right here. Super User Do says, in regard to report writing, what about tools like Snagit that can just do screen recording while you do the fun part? Could video reporting be a viable replacement for traditional reporting? That's a good question. I would say probably not. I'm not saying it couldn't be supplemental, but I think that traditional reporting will probably always be the case because executives don't care. They're not going to watch your week-long video, right? Where are you going to store that file? It's going to be massive. It's too big. It's too clunky. I've had a ton of people like, let's do live hacking stuff. It's like, you don't want to do that. It's boring. It's boring to sit there and watch me go, all right, why didn't that work? And I've got to get in my head. I'm not going to be speaking out loud. I'm going to just be like thinking. And you're watching a screen and you're watching me read articles and you're watching me read MITRE information and CVE details and go, okay, no, and look at POCs. And it's, while we find that stuff very enjoyable, we find that stuff really exciting, most don't. Especially with the length of time it takes. Nobody's got the time to do that. What they need is the most juiced, concentrated form of, here are the important pieces of information you need. Here is the quick and dirty narrative of how we were able to exploit X, Y, and Z vulnerabilities, which we discovered through X, Y, and Z means. And here are remediations. Here's the severity. Here's business impact. They need something they can look at and go, okay, give that to the team so it's technical enough that the team can work with it. And yet it still has enough in it that's high level enough for executives to understand how it impacts their business. That is an art, right? This is where those certs that are a little more esoteric, not esoteric, but like high level, conceptual, theory based come in handy, like CISSP, where and something I learned from Mike Saunders. He was like, I value my CISSP even though I don't, because I use it in a way for my pen testing to help them understand the impact of their business better. I do risk analysis a whole lot better because of the stuff I learned when I was studying for CISSP. I was like, gotcha. That makes sense because that's the stuff that company wants. The tech nerds of the company want the details on how you hacked it and what they can do to change that. But the people that run the company want to know, how does that impact them at the bottom line? Because if they got breached, this is no bueno, and they need to fix that. So that's why it's really probably not going to go that way. Now, that could be good for you, though, where you're screen grabbing everything you do, like as a video. You're just videoing everything you're doing, and then you can go back and watch you and learn from your own self. Like that might be really formidable. And maybe you could add that as an appendix. Like, we have a full video of how this is done. Now, a lot of pen testers probably wouldn't be into that because could be giving away some of their trade secrets that they don't want to get out. So there might be NDAs involved with that. But then their internal team could learn what they're doing, and then those people could quit, and then, they could almost like side channel attack that knowledge out of their system and then go utilize that as a pen tester in another place. And now everybody's, you know what I mean? So everybody's kind of got their little magic book that they do things in a certain way that they probably keep too close to the vest and only share with select few. But yeah. Let's see here. Into the chat. I know, man. Oh, geez. I literally didn't talk about anything I had on my list of stuff to talk about today. But it's been a good conversation. This has been a lot of fun. A lot of fun here. David O'Neill says, I like how they have the report written and broke down. Yeah, they did a great job. Bearded IT Dad. This is FedEx talking. That's why I prefer cold and hot, and I can layer up. Oh, yeah, we're talking about the weather because it's ridiculous. The hacking lab, one of the great things about Red Siege is The report is made so even if you colorblind with the symbols, you can tell whether it's severe or not. Hey, that's a good point. They probably do that for that very reason. Red Siege is one of my favorite sample pen test reports. Yeah. Very, very cool. Let's see here. Wayne's laughing at me saying juice concentrate. Someone's sending me. I guess I'm getting a call from someone. Hold on here. Oh, I gotta go. It's John Strand, everyone. Oh my goodness. Okay. I guess it's the end of the thing anyway. So it was good to talk with you. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, keep hacking.